Welcome in, everybody. It is time for another edition, another episode, another chapter in the days of our lives. This is Three Guys Before the Game, episode 548, and the title is Staffing Up. Newcomers coming on board, players, coaches, stocking up the shelves for the Mountaineer basketball program. Little by little, roster's starting to come back. And by the way, we are now paying the winning tickets on the over-under for players remaining from last season's team. We were kind of on it. I took the under all the way. I'm cashing.
Number was set at 1.5,
Yeah,
I believe.
I'm cashing. When it's said and done, it's going to be 1. Last Man Standing. It's a Bruce Springsteen song, Hoppy.
What's that?
Last Man Standing. One of his recent albums within the last 4 years or so. Last Man Standing was a song.
It's going to be
Ofri Neve.
very different look.
Yeah.
New coaches, new players.
Everything new. Everything
Same
new.
uniforms. I mean,
Yeah.
recognize them that way.
Everything is new. Three Guys Before the Game. We'll get into staffing. We'll get into football. Basketball in the NBA. How about the Mountaineers? Making some noise. Players, coaches. We'll talk about that. Plus your texts on Textual Healing. Three Guys Before the Game brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. What they do? Well, they just sell family fun, and it's time of the year to have family fun. It's getting warm outside. Get your family together. What better way than cruising along on a pontoon boat from Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. We'll show you a little stuff from there later on. Three Guys brought to us by Go-Mart. Go for good times. Go for Go-Mart. I was inside of a Go-Mart not more than 13 hours ago on my way back up the road.
Flatwoods?
Oh, yeah. That's the two Go-Marts next to each other. Not one, but two.
Yeah, right next to each other.
Twice as nice.
Which ones you hit?
The
Not the original. The original's the one over to the right there. Not that one?
That's the truck stop one.
Yeah, you didn't do that one. No.
I went for the convenience of the general public.
You just went right and kept just,
Took the left in, boom. Very, very friendly.
What time?
Attendance.
That was late, right?
Yeah, it was heading toward 11.
You did that post on the way home?
Yeah, on the way back up, and made a horrific, stunningly
Bad food decision?
Some bad food decisions.
Of course you did.
Stunned by that development.
Give us details.
It didn't hurt me. It didn't physically hurt me, but I just know that was not what I was supposed to be eating at that hour of the night.
Yeah.
So I made it.
That could have been last night, could have been 6 months ago, could have been 1999.
Anytime.
We'd be having the same conversation
Exactly.
here.
So
he has
Go
control
back up
issues
the
on
road.
that.
I went to a Go-Mart, made a bad food decision.
So error number 1, what do you not want to eat in the dark on the road at that hour? Anyway, Klondike bar. That chocolate chocolate falls off.
Those are good, though.
Oh, it's not a matter of
But
if the chocolate
if it breaks off in a piece, you might have it on the lap the whole way home and not know it.
caught a piece on the pants.
There it is.
And I wasn't like I was wearing jeans because I was coming back from that big
Yeah, you had
shindig.
your nice Daniels suit on.
Had a Hart Schaffner Marks
gosh.
had a Hart Schaffner Marks suit
Did you
on.
know you dropped it on your pants?
Yeah, instantly did. I picked it up. I didn't see any residue.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
Because you could have been all the way into Fairmont before you realized
Exactly. And then it's just kind of melted
it.
down.
Right,
and
then you got no shot. Then you're going to see Phil saying, hey, I just need a whole new suit.
Right. And then the other deal on that was
Those Klondike bars are hard
Klondike
to walk away
bar-
from.
They
though.
are.
I mean, I understand that bad decision, yeah.
And let me take a bet. I know the Klondike was not the only thing you got.
Yeah, correct. And
I
not
paired it with something weird, too.
Yeah.
not weird. Not weird at all. Conventional for me.
What?
Peanut M&Ms.
Okay.
Okay, that works.
So I went
And a drink.
But did you manage the consumption of the peanut M&Ms, or did you tear the top off and drink it?
Yes. Drank them. Drank the
Why
M&M.
you do that?
Tastes good.
You always do that. Don't do that.
Because you get a great experience in the mouth when you got all that crunching going on all at the
No.
same
I
time.
agree, but you can get a couple crunches throughout the bag.
Needed to fall asleep. I needed to go to sleep.
Peanut M&M is definitely, when you drive down the road, a one at a time. Put the
I-
bag there.
Yeah, see, I'm not one at a time. I'm multiple at a time too, but I
Really?
just don't drink it. Yeah, you got to have more. He's right on that. I'm totally with him on the theory. I'm just saying the delivery mechanism to get it, like, he literally tears the bag, tilts his head back, and drinks the bag.
But then you don't get to sustain the joy.
But you got a lot of residue going on there that lasts for a long time.
I'm with
A
you.
lot of residue.
Those actually go together. All right, that's not too bad.
You're working on things all the way up to the Roanoke exit, up Stonewall there.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's good. It's the treat that keeps on giving.
Plus a water, right?
Yeah, I had water. Anyway, if you
He's done way worse than that.
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So it always brings back memories because that was the trip that I was coming back from once where Greg Hunter took the wheel. That was how the whole Fly Rod Slim Jim started because
You did the same thing.
Hunter had a Fly Rod Slim Jim holding the steering wheel, and then his head was about a millimeter from the ceiling, and it was disproportionate, and it looked like the steering wheel was an Oreo.
He had grown to 9'3", and the steering wheel was like at his ankles.
Yeah. So anyway, fuel. And by the way, I hit fuel 2 times going down.
Excuse me?
I bought Gomart fuel 2 times.
Yeah.
Not Jane Lou, the Gasaway exit.
Oh, sure.
I've got fuel
Exit
there.
62.
Exit 62,
Yeah.
Gasaway exit. And I filled up there because I had to drop my vehicle off. Got another one, came back up the road, filled up at the Flatwoods. I
Got
took
your
care
new
of
truck there.
Yeah,
Different
I did.
truck. Yeah.
I took care of Gomart yesterday.
2 Phillips? What are you driving? A big diesel
No, I
rig?
left one.
Two different vehicles.
Dropped one vehicle off, picked up another one, came back
He had
up.
a relay. He had to tag out the truck there at LaRose Ford, then got his another one and headed down the road. So it was like a vehicle swap.
I got it. Okay.
And the new one I have drives by itself.
Does it really?
Yeah,
Have you tried
Did you
that?
do it?
instantly.
You didn't. You see.
How's it work?
He's like a kid, right? He can't help himself.
You like it?
Got a new toy.
Scary but good.
Really?
Talked to the guy, talked to Marky.
Yeah.
Marky LaRose told me, he said, I'm just telling you, once you start doing it, you'll never be able to go back to anything else. I went, okay. Put that thing on there.
And your
Now
hands
you have
were
to
off.
keep you have to keep your eyes straight.
Correct.
That camera's checking your head, and you have to keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Oh, your hands stay on the wheel.
Yeah, it's not like you
Yeah,
can-
that's called driving.
No, but you don't do anything. But you don't do anything with your hands. It's just literally they just stay there. You're not doing anything. It just needs to touch. You're not doing this.
Okay.
And it goes down 79.
Did you grab it around the first turn?
I was very close to holding it in case it didn't do what it was
Yeah.
supposed to do.
I
This is
don't know.
what flipped me out. I'm in the left lane. I want to get back to the right lane.
Yeah.
Flip the signal up. Turn signal. It goes
It did it.
over it goes.
What about if you're like passing? I mean, obviously it notices all that.
Oh yeah, more gas. Or it'll put the brakes on if you're in the same lane. It'll put the
Will
brakes.
it pull off at Gomart?
Oh yeah, automatically planned to go to Gomart.
You put it in, like punch it in.
Go for good times. Go for Gomart. So that was fun. Anyway, 3 guys also brought to us by
Eventful
Comex.
trip, and that's just the driving
I
part
know,
of the trip.
right?
Yeah. 3 guys also brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. They
Surprised you didn't just put a printer in the back there, a Comex printer. Just like you're not driving, so just print some documents there on the way back. Print the text out on your way home.
You could do some
could have
stuff.
done that.
Yeah. I mean, here's the reality of all
Comex
of
printer
that.
in the back seat there, just print the text. Would have been done.
So
Office.
Well, he's not driving.
So obviously that's the step. But the interesting thing is, and this is what I kind of like, one of the reasons I do wish I was younger. I want to see what that thing's in 20 years because I don't think there's any question in a matter of a decade or so, you literally will not be, you don't have to pay attention. Probably don't have to pay in 10 years, 15 years from now, like it will just go.
I'm not sure you want to see that because in 20 years, AI is going to be doing the play-by-play of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know that I was listening to a podcast last night? Do you know that the 3 platforms that are developing AI have accessed and either stored or accessed all printed material?
So much so, in fact,
All-
Hoppy, that they went to YouTube and took everything off
All
of YouTube,
videos.
transcribed it, and took that too.
Yes, took that too. They have all known knowledge
Yes.
stored
And still looking for more.
and looking for more.
So you listened to the same New York Times podcast that I did.
Yeah,
As
exactly.
first reported, he called me. He was like, "Little kid, he called me with that news. First reported by you."
I go, dude, how about this?
Called me with that the other day.
Well, how about, am I blowing your mind with these songs we've been making?
Oh yeah, but here's the thing. I thought that was amazing. But 2 things. One is, oh by the way, a lot of it's copyrighted, so there's that issue. And oh by the way, some of it is wrong.
Not the but no, we're talking about the music, the
Well,
songs.
I'm not talking about the songs. I'm talking
the
about the
songs.
material that they're
Oh, there's no
accessing.
question it's a steal. There's no question. And they're claiming fair use.
They're claiming fair use, like it's such a big deal that don't worry about the copyright thing. We're making the world better. I'm not sure. I mean,
I agree. Yeah, that was a really good.
I mean, you think it's a good thing until something that you generated shows up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
Well, that was it. That was a great podcast.
It was really good.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Hey, listen, maybe we could do a
Got a little
podcast.
talk line right there.
Maybe we could do a podcast someday.
think?
What do you think?
Well, let's talk about it.
Maybe not. Three guys. So this show today is going to be all over the place because
as if you couldn't tell already.
Start on that.
Yeah. Last night, the annual Mountaineer Athletic Club Scholarship Dinner took place in Charleston, and several hundred people there. I don't know how many it is. I don't know if it's 500, 600, whatever it is, but a great crowd. And John Beilein was the special guest. It was Darren DeVries's first official event in Charleston. And you know what you come away with at this point in WVU athletics? That I think if you were going to do a graph, you're on an uptick here.
Mm-hmm.
You're on an uptick. Think about this. So we did 5 head coaches with a little Q&A. So you had Darren DeVries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what are you
Go
giggling?
ahead, nothing. I'm listening.
You had Darren DeVries. You had Mark Kellogg. He didn't have a bad debut season.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You had Neil Brown,
Mm-hmm.
right? He kind of had a little bit of a season.
year.
He had a little bit of a season.
Should have been coach of the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had Jen Greeny, the new volleyball coach, who took over a Washington State team. They had won 0 matches.
Mm-hmm.
And when she took over Washington State, went to 8 NCAAs in a row.
Looks like a great hire, yeah.
And then on the other end, Dan Stratford, who men's soccer coach who Hoppy hired at the university.
Good hire by Hoppy.
Good Hoppy by hire. And so he thinks he'll be preseason 3.
Cool.
Women's basketball will be preseason. Football will probably be a preseason top 25.
Should be in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Coach Greeny is starting from scratch. And then obviously Darren is starting from scratch. But you know what you got? You got a wave.
Mm-hmm.
You got a wave coming up. Compare that to a year ago. At that same dinner, it was like things were a little.
Like
everyone,
Good point.
Everyone was kind of like walking around like sideways, like uncertainty reigned supreme. Now
Unsettledness.
I think unsettled. Now I think you got optimism and you have true excitement.
A little momentum now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Just everything you said, Tony. Plus, the basketball thing has been a struggle, obviously. But what does a new coach give you,
Hope.
Brad?
Hope.
Right? Like, hey, start anew, new guy, new players. And it gives you hope. It gives you anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
New things are titillating, right?
Yeah.
So you got that. Yeah, I'm sure it was a great night, Tony.
Yeah. It was.
And then John Beilein being there. And it's great that John Beilein comes back. I mean, he's a guy that was only here 5 years, just 5 years. But it feels like that he is linked to us, doesn't it?
Yes. I think that he wants to get back involved. And I think that Ren did a really nice thing of bringing him back in. And that was the first time he came back. He did like a little clinic thing for J.D. Collins in Fairmont a couple of summers ago. But that was the first time he was back at a WVU event since he was gone. That's 17 years.
Has it been that long?
Which that's a great guy to have back, a wonderful ambassador if he's tied to your program again, elicits some unbelievable memories for everybody that was around during that time period. And really neat because, guys, he was in the era of it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave a place and not have everybody all over you. And he's one of the few that's been able to exit. And some of that was helped, admittedly, by Bob Huggins being the guy that followed him, a guy at that level with that kind of success. That eased the transition from John into Hugs. But I think that's a wonderful, even if it's a semi-ambassador role. He's got a couple of schools to serve there. But I think that's a huge win for Mountaineers everywhere to have him back involved.
He's in. Ren wants to honor that 05 team this coming year, 20th year.
Great.
That'll be the 20th anniversary. And hopefully, he says, here's the issue. He goes, 13 of my guys that were at West Virginia are coaches. He said probably.
John said that?
Yeah. Probably can't.
13.
13 are coaching. Probably can't do that in basketball season.
Wow. How about that? That's wild.
Yeah, over his span. And
wonder why those teams had high basketball IQ?
That's exactly what he said. He said, I was successful because I had really smart players. Told a story about Joseph Mazzulla.
Now he's busy right now.
He's got things on.
What's he doing now? Did he do
Coaching
anything?
somewhere.
Yeah.
Went back up near home, near Rhode Island somewhere.
Yeah.
So I had told the story. I remember when Joe was on his visit. I walked into the office for whatever reason, and Joe was just kind of sitting there near the desk. Either he was waiting to go home or waiting to go in to see John, or that's the first time I ever met him. And he told the story last night when he offered Joe Mazzulla a scholarship, and they brought him back to the airport, wherever. Joe was in tears. So happy to get a scholarship offer from West Virginia. And that's how the whole thing started.
Now he's leading a team that's a minus 8,000 favorite in its playoff series against the Heat.
Now, John also did point
That's a
out.
big favorite.
Might win a natty.
Yeah, might win a Worlds.
Hang on.
Worlds. Now, John did also mention.
But if they don't, they have to. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk. Well, I want to talk about that because we need to spend a little time on NBA because the Mountaineers are flying high in that event right now.
So, John mentioned that the Joe that you see today on the sidelines is a different Joe than when he was here.
Yeah.
I think John used the term, he was a pain in the ass. That was the term that he used. He was a wild child.
Yeah.
And he called him in and had a conversation with him. I forget at what point, young in his career, and basically said, dude, like, do you want to be successful? Your practice habits are like non-existent. And he said, pfft. He turned the light on and off it went. So that was good. Good to see him. He said there's no way he would ever play the 1-3-1 again.
Reason?
Said you can't do it anymore. He said because, you know what he said? Because it opens you up for layups and three-point shots.
And guess what everybody's doing now?
Layups and three-point shots.
So that corner three would be devastating. They just park people in the corner on you.
You think Hakeem Warwick might come underneath the basket and dunk it at the top of his head?
So that's the thing.
He also said if he coached again, he would pick up the pace of play.
Mm-hmm.
He would fire more.
Take more threes.
And he said he was looking into sportsreference.com, which is a great site, and I think they made the third most threes in the country in one of his seasons here. They were living on that, obviously, so they were ahead of their times.
Yeah.
I tell you what else he did, and this, for whatever sticks in my mind, was I remember covering his kind of press availability. We might have carried it live when he announced he's leaving. Is that he made an announcement here. He addressed the press. He did every interview. And a lot of times, Brad, what do coaches do? They're gone.
Leave.
You know, what happened? Oh, I don't know. And he did that. I thought that was a very classy thing to do. I just remember that.
Yeah.
That was just a proper way, professional way to handle that. Because it's never popular when you leave if you're successful.
Correct. He has the Don Nealon gravitas, I think, that he can come back in and go anywhere and people are going to give you, the way that it's supposed to be for a former coach. Like you're revered, you're respected, they love you for what you did. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And when you say John Beilein to those teams, what do you instantly do? Smile. Instantly smile.
Yeah, fun times. All of the current coaches are perspiring over May 1.
Reason? Because
that's the deadline that the portal will close. So everyone's worried. Mark Kellogg even mentioned it. He goes like, I'm just waiting for May 1 to be over so I know what the heck my roster is. Now, you'll be able to get kids after that because there's going to be more kids in the portal than have places to go.
You don't have to be landed. You just have to go in if you're a player. You have to be entered into the portal by then.
So every coach is concerned that they've got players, pulling a Shawshank Redemption, going underneath and coming out through the water.
So, Hop, you and I have been, I'll bring you in this because you never fought me on this. I've been pro-player movement, pro-player paid for years,
yes, you have.
right? Been very outspoken about that. I still am, still completely am. I do acknowledge they do have to find a way to get to a point where you can serve both entities in this, because I get what those coaches are saying. The fact that you have to worry about your roster basically 365 days. I know there's a couple windows. That's really difficult, right? That's really difficult. Now, again, we've talked many times, too restrictive for decades, probably too liberal now.
Overcorrected.
The market will settle itself, but you've got to get there. I do see what these coaches are saying when they have to sit here in May and not exactly know because you're worried about the next wave of transfer portals.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I mean, that you have to have more constraints on the movement. Not that you can't move, but that when you can move and when coaches know what they got. Absolutely. That's all just about being able to manage, okay? That's being able to manage while giving the players an opportunity to move and giving the coaches a chance to manage what they have.
Yeah, and giving the players an opportunity to make what they're worth or what the market will bear,
Right.
and do all that. I think you can achieve that. There is, just as we often talk with college sports, there's a lot of things you can say are easy philosophically that are very difficult to get to when you get down in the weeds and are trying to legislate. I get it, but I am sympathetic to that side of it.
Sure.
That the constant roster turnover is very difficult to know where you are with the team.
And, the other thing is that while empowering the individual, you got to be careful about its impact on everybody else, right?
Yes.
So because every movement, especially in something like every movement is not just isolated to that player.
Yeah, and I think that's what coaches are trying to manage now is that team building aspect and the not just the culture and the locker room camaraderie, but the individual playing talents and pieces you need. So, yeah, it's a challenge. There's no question about that.
Starting to hear more and more among chief people involved in this world, the administrators, that we're moving toward some form of employment.
Sure.
There's going to be some model of employment, and how you pull that all together is going to be unbelievably interesting to see how that looks. Because as Ren Baker will often say, there's good things to being an employee. There's also a lot of bad things to being an employee, which would take away things that student athletes currently get. So it's not utopia, but that is the lean.
But where
this thing is going.
I mean, that's the thing. I think sometimes we make the mistake of saying it's got to be utopia, it's got to be perfect. It isn't, nor has it been. It hasn't been perfect before, so you're not going to get to a perfect solution. That's the point of a negotiation. There's going to be some give and take, and both sides of that have to be willing to do that.
Yeah, they're going to lose some of the perks that they're getting now, but the end result is they will make dollars instead. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems. You're a business owner. You need a phone system. Comax, that's just one of the many things that they do. From one line to 1,000 digital lines, they can do it. And when you've got the right phone system, you've got immediate access to your folks out in the field. You don't miss calls. You don't miss business opportunities. Check it out at comaxwv.com. And I say phones, they got everything. From paper clips to rocket launchers.
Printers.
They got the whole deal. Check them out. And also, obviously, they can manage your networking and do your IT work as well.
You a paperclip guy or a staple guy?
More paperclip.
Right.
Don't use either a whole lot. How many times have you put a staple in your finger before? You ever put a double right in your finger?
Rarely.
You look at it, you look at your thumb, and you got a staple in there?
Rarely.
That's hard. That hurts. That doesn't feel good.
Well, don't put your thumb under the stapler. What are you talking about?
I mean, you don't do it on purpose. I mean, stuff happens.
Just like you put eggs in the microwave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or that time Sister Mary was cutting those Campbell soup labels.
All right.
With that paper.
All right.
With that paper cutter, and she was trying to cut the labels.
Surprised there weren't more of those. That was a rudimentary tool in the classroom.
That was.
Think about that.
Oh,
you had that big giant paper cutter.
Yes.
Just
big blade.
We got two of them upstairs.
With little kids. Well, at least there's adults running around here. Those were in classrooms.
Yeah, it's a wonder somebody didn't stick their finger in there. Right?
All right, since the last time we got together.
Way off track now.
Way off track.
The basketball staff at WVU is growing, as head coach Darren DeVries formally has announced the hirings of Chester Frazier, who comes to WVU from the University of Illinois, as first reported on this show. We really didn't first report it, but everyone always likes to say that. And then Nelson Hernandez, who joins WVU from Oklahoma State, where he will serve as player personnel director. And then, in addition to all that, coming from the University of Nevada, we've got Barnett. Excuse me, Corey Barnett. And he is in. And so now you've got 3 assistants, and you have Hernandez, and also today you have the director of operations being named, who's a familiar face. It's Trent Michaels, who has been with us for a really long time. He first started off as a student manager, became head manager, joined the staff, graduate assistant, served as the DOBO, director of basketball operations, last year, and he will retain that position. And that's great. Trent's wonderful. does a fantastic job, has a ton of institutional knowledge as to how this whole thing works day to day. And then when you're out on the road, where to go, where not to go, how to do this, how to do that. And so the staff is coming together. We also had a couple of visits this weekend, and to no surprise, Sincere Harris from Illinois joins the Mountaineer roster, and Amani Hansberry, also an Illinois transfer, joins the Mountaineer roster. One from Ohio, one from Baltimore. These were expected after the hiring of Chester Frazier, and so West Virginia lands both of them. So extremely high pedigree high school recruits, but to this point have not done anything in the college space that makes you go, wow. So obviously betting on the come.
2 4-star guys. Start with Harris from LeBron James High School, St. Mary's, St. Vincent. It was told to me by a coach in the business when they were talking about Harris, who, as you mentioned, sat out last year at Illinois, so you don't have a lot to go on last year. But Hoppy, it was said to me, which is one of the great compliments from the basketball industry, one of the great compliments you can give a player is he's got a little bleep to him. Got a little bleep to him, Hop.
Yeah, a little something to him, yeah.
A little bleep to him. So that's Harris. Comes in, 6'4", Tony? So you get some decent size there in the backcourt.
6'4", 170.
Yeah. So you got some size there. Hansberry comes in as a 6'8", as you mentioned, 4-star out of high school from Baltimore. Played for a legendary program over there. Brings you some size. He did play some minutes this season against Illinois. 3 or 4, handful of times he played double-digit minutes. Last game put up 8 points against the 2-time defending national champion UConn Huskies in that game. So these are guys that you have, as you mentioned, talent, highly regarded coming out of high school, looking for a fresh start. Their first experience into college wasn't what they thought it was going to be. So do you get some guys that are now ready? They understand they were at a very, very good Illinois program that's won a ton of games. So come from a winning culture. What can they do on the floor? Are these guys that say, okay, now I get the college game, I'm ready to go, here's my chance to start again? You certainly hope so, starting with some good size and some good high school pedigree at least.
Yeah, good start.
So you add in KJ Tenner, who had originally committed to Drake, and he'll come in as a high school senior, so he'll be a true freshman. KJ Tenner, and these are the scholarship guys at this point: Ofri Neve, Sincere Harris, Amani Hansberry, Tucker DeVries, and to this moment, Noah Farrakhan, but I don't think that's going to last. And so you've got 5 on scholarship, and then you've got Aiden Tagaloa Nelson, the football player, who obviously would be very limited in what he would be available to do. So obviously a lot more fruit to harvest here before we call the roster good.
Yeah, you got some work to do, but now that you've got the staff in place, now you can come together. What are we looking for? What do you need? What do you need to plug in here? And those discussions are ongoing. Again, as we mentioned, that portal is going to continue to have players in it. And the one thing we often talk about, Hop, for a situation like West Virginia's in, when Tony, you used the correct terminology earlier, it's a complete rebuild. There's never been a better time to rebuild your roster. The ability to go in and get some talent, or some guys like Harris and Hansberry that are looking for a fresh start, that are looking for a new place to go restart their career. There's a ton of those guys out there. Now, that'll quickly move into the question of, okay, how do you meld all those new pieces together? But for now, go out and continue to get guys as they are.
Yep.
So let's jump into the NBA involving the Mountaineers. Mike Gansey and the Cleveland Cavaliers involved. Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics involved. Deuce McBride is involved. Deuce had a game of games in game number 1 of the series against the Philadelphia 76ers. Highest plus-minus in Knicks history.
Playoff history.
In a playoff game. And I think this is correct. We've been driving. I didn't look it up yesterday. That has to be the best playoff performance in the NBA by a Mountaineer since Jerry West. The only others it could be potentially would be Fritz Williams when he played for the Milwaukee Bucks, and maybe Rod Thorne. I'll have to dig, but that very well could be the best playoff performance since Jerry West by a Mountaineer.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Oh, you don't have to think hard. You ain't got to think real long here, Hoppy.
He had 21, 3, and 4. In that game, and hit 5 of 7 3-pointers, and he was the story of the game.
Well, he was the story afterwards. Jalen Brunson, their MVP candidate, was asked after the game, what allowed you to win the game? What was the key factor in winning this game? Gave a 2-word answer.
Yeah,
Deuce McBride was how Jalen Brunson answered.
I tell you, I watched the game last night, most of the game. I mean, just Philadelphia and New York. That's a great NBA series.
Yeah,
okay.
in the Garden.
Two historic teams. How many times have they played? I mean, people my age growing up watched that those two teams play, and to see Deuce out there, I mean, getting real time. Making a difference in the playoff. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, he's really, guys, moved to what we thought he would become. The Knicks with that new contract this winter for him and moved a bunch of guys off that roster. He'd been in a logjam there for his first couple years in the NBA. They clearly saw what he could be because they finally got rid of some guys, moved him out of the way, and he's a dude now. He's playing a significant role on a team that really – not only they're the number 2 seed in the East, that should be matching up against Boston. They're in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, they're up 2-0 over Philly right now. That's a good start for them. Yeah.
So what's their takeaway on all of this? Isn't it pretty wild?
It's fun. It makes it more interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I know Hop, for me as a guy that's liked the NBA for a long time, certainly makes it much more worth watching. I know others that really haven't followed the NBA or gotten involved in it for – what's it been? A long time since you've had this kind of rooting interest, and now to have 3 teams in the East that you can follow. I know Javon Carter and the Bulls had the play-in game, but they didn't get far. You've got that going as well, so it's a blast. And watching – so not only is Deuce fun to watch, but this story with the Boston Celtics and Joe Mazzulla has the potential to be just fascinating here over the next couple of months. I mean, that's a prohibitive favorite. If you look on DraftKings right now, they're plus 130 to win the whole thing. The next closest is the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets, plus 220. The next closest Eastern team is the Bucks at plus 1,600. So they're a prohibitive favorite in the East to get to the NBA Finals.
You would think they would. It's just you want to be in that position at the same time. There's so much pressure.
It's both.
Because anything short of winning at all is going to be seen as a disappointment.
There's no doubt. And I think that team, listen, they have had an unbelievable, historic run through this. And here in the coming weeks, I'll round up some of those numbers. One of them, they've had a 20-point, at least a 20-point lead in exactly half of their regular season games in the NBA. Yeah, think about that kind of dominance. Kristaps Porzingis is maybe the key to that. If he stays healthy, the 7'3", 7'4", 7'2", whatever he is such a matchup problem and a difference maker. They call him the unicorn. That's pretty good, Hop. One of a kind there is what they're saying. With Tatum, with Brown, they've got a chance there if Porzingis can stay healthy, but that's a big if here as you run down the next couple months of this NBA season.
Mountaineer football talk coming up in just a second. Textual Healing still to come. It is a grand time of the year if you are into boating, and why wouldn't you be? Take advantage of some of West Virginia's absolute gorgeous scenic beauty, and we will turn you on to the premier boat dealer in the state of West Virginia. It is Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They've been at it for 45 years. Family-owned, family-run. You can't do that for that long without doing it really well. They feature the Avalon pontoon boats made here right in the United States in Michigan. Just gorgeous crafts. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, as Brent Musburger would say, you are looking live inside Lou Wendell Marine Sales, where right now the selection of accessories and boats is at the all-time high for this season. And so if you're in the market and you're looking for just that right piece, visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. You can head there or check them out at LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com. We should probably get our producer, Austin, like when we do that, Reed, to take a punch down of the live
look at the water.
That'd be kind of neat, because that way the picture will be different.
You know what you should get is
those boats look nice in those dock slips, though, don't they?
I just went to the website.
Sure,
they have video. We should just run the video.
Yeah,
I mean it looks like fun. I mean,
well, sure, it's fun. How long before you go out there?
That's what they're selling is fun.
They sell family fun.
Wait a minute, is that Brad?
First time listener? They sell family fun.
That's nice.
Coming soon. Huh?
And look, you think of a pontoon boat, you think of it like chugging along? No.
Well, they go.
No.
Yeah.
Now, that 3 guys special.
2 behind them.
Yeah.
Water ski behind them. Yeah.
I mean, what do you want to put back there? That's what you can put back there. They've got that 2023 Tri-Tune Venture 85 23-footer from Avalon. Got a Honda 115 on that thing, and just absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they're hours. Monday through Friday, 8:30 till 5. Sunday, open 1
It's a good deck
until 5. 1
That's a
till
good
5.
deck on the front of that. And put one of those aqua mats out there. That's what we do. I'll put an aqua mat out the front of ours. Yeah, yeah.
Hoppy will get that
nice.
coconut. Hoppy get that coconut oil out there.
I don't think they recommend that.
No,
anymore.
not anymore. It used to be back in the
It's
day.
bad now?
Yeah, you're not supposed to
I
do
don't think
that.
you want to do that.
No.
Okay. All right, cool.
No baby oil. do we?
No, Tropic Thunder,
Yeah,
number
yeah.
3. No, not Tropic Thunder. Tropic, whatever it was.
Brown bottle.
Yeah.
I'll have to look this
Tropic
up.
Thunder's a movie.
I'll have to look
Lost
up.
my thought there.
I'll have to look up Rod Thorne's playoff games.
Let me go. I'll look while you're doing that. You're busy.
Rod never scored more than 20,
Oh, really?
so he's out of the competition. Most he had was 14, 1967. St. Louis against San Francisco's Warriors. Lined up had 14.
All lined up.
Yeah. So we'll get that on Fritz Williams as well, but I think my statement may win. I think that might be the best productivity in a playoff game since Jerry West.
Jerry West playoff stats played in 153 games. Does that sound right?
Think about that. 2 seasons worth. Yeah.
Averaged 29 points,
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
5 rebounds, 5.5 rebounds, and 6 assists.
Yeah.
Over 157. That's why he's been inducted into the Hall of Fame 3 times.
He
Playoff series record. You know, they always struggled in the championship. Playoff series record 16-12. Playoff series record 16-12.
A lot of those L's to Boston.
Yeah.
Pretty good Boston.
A lot of those losses.
Conference finals appearances 2. Championships 1.
Yeah.
You got 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the Celtics.
And he hit that shot against the Knicks from midcourt at the Garden.
Don't ask him about that.
Okay, I won't bring it up.
I
Sorry.
mean, you can bring it up. I mean, it's because he took the loss as hard. Like, didn't matter.
Yeah, he did.
Didn't matter because they lost the game.
The great ones care.
Oh,
The great ones, yeah,
I
the
think
great
he
ones absolutely care. Let's do a little bit of this, shall we? Shall we? Oh, yeah.
14 years in the NBA. Field goal percentage, Brad.
What is going on with your voice?
Can
Can I
I'm
get you a
sorry.
gallon of honey and just lather your throat? What are we doing? Brad, can you get him a fire hydrant's worth of water?
He's fighting through. Still coming back.
He
He was down there for a while.
I was sick,
Yeah, you're fighting through.
and it's just like it won't go. It won't. Jerry West in 14 years, his field goal percentage. Brad, field goal percentage.
60 plus.
No, field goal percentage. not free throw. 47%.
Yeah, right at 50.
47% from the field. Free throw, 81%. Pretty good. Pretty good player.
I think Ron Fritz Williams might have had 22 in a playoff game.
Oh,
Really?
Deuce may have work to do. Yeah.
He's got time.
We'll effort that. See if we can get that.
The guy just had a game of his life. We go, well, he'll do better. He'll do better.
Come on, Deuce. You got to do better. I wonder if he's going to come in for his camp again this summer. Came into town last year. If he does, we'll do our best to get him in here. 3 Guys Before the Game, episode 800.com is the sponsor of Textual Healing. And I want to start off with thanking everyone. On our last episode when Mark Kellogg was here, I brought out the state of West Virginia cement outline. And I said, if you guys are interested in perhaps buying one of these, we're gonna see if there's an interest to them, and then we'll figure out the logistics of like, what do they cost, how do you ship them, and all that kind of stuff. Got great response. So we are going to the next step of figuring out how to ship them, because we've ruled out a manila envelope.
Yeah.
That's totally out of the question,
You need a truck.
because it's 25 pounds.
Yeah.
About 25
You
pounds.
can't ship that, can you?
Oh, yeah, you can ship it. Yeah, you can ship it. Sure.
our guys over at Star City will take care of that, won't they? Postal Service.
Well,
They'll handle that.
they're an option. Yeah, they're an option.
We just have to load them up individually and drive them.
It's probably more of a UPS thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we're looking at various options.
You mean Dave is?
Yeah, Davis.
Okay.
Davis. And those come in different colors. So anyway, thanks to everyone for doing this.
So a lot of people wanted those.
Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you? It's great. I've got one.
Oh, nice piece.
Texter says, Tony, I think I would like one of those state outlines, but it doesn't seem to me like Kaiser is well represented. It looks more like Romney, but although Romney in Hampshire County is the first county in state, Kaiser needs more light. Everyone here loves everything Mountaineers. You don't have to include this, but please send it to my address. And he gives me his address. I hope you have been to the Stray Cat Chimney Shack in Star City, the old hot dog stand. Coach Kellogg goes and gets the best chimichanga you've ever had. There you go.
Lineup. They are good. We've had them.
Last night, they had this reception before we have our dinner in Charleston. A lot of people there, hundreds. And I came across this young lady, and she identified as a P1 listener. That is Nikki Randolph.
Awesome.
And she does not miss a beat. Loves the show.
Nikki's on it.
Yeah, and she told me that she'll be in attendance at our CPA event.
Oh. That's coming up.
That's a week from this coming Friday.
Yeah.
We're down there. We're going to be speaking to the West Virginia Society of Certified Public Accountants. Regular listeners know I've had a strong and very, very great relationship with the certified public accountants across the state, and they're hosting an annual event down in Charleston, and she is fired up. She will be there. Nikki will be there. And for all you CPAs out there, and I don't need to tell you this, you've been doing nothing since April the 15th. So we'd love to have you there. And it's going to be the three of us doing a live show. And we're going to do this. It's not going to be recorded. It's just going to be for that group there. And we're looking forward to doing it. We're going to riff. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. And we're going to answer questions.
This is one of the all-time comebacks.
What's that? Oh, yeah, it is.
It's one of the
You're
all-time
right.
comebacks.
Considering what he did.
Considering what he said.
Yes.
How offensive he was.
I know.
To the whole profession that works so hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me rephrase. Maybe I shouldn't say it's an all-time comeback. We don't know what we're walking into.
Yeah, it might be.
This might be. We might need. He's been setting this up, handling logistics.
Yeah.
Do I need to get involved and see if there's like a second stage, like two-part stage? He sits on one, you and I go to the other, just in case it turns.
That's a great point.
Because we don't exactly know. We think we're going in there all puppy dogs and ice cream. There might be some pointed conversation there.
Given Tony's history.
I think I've been misrepresented in my comments. All I simply said was, why do CPAs get so nervous every year when the tax deadline approaches? Why do they get nervous like it's the first time they've ever gone through the drill?
Maybe they're busy, Tony.
Well, I
Maybe they're
understand that.
busy.
Yeah.
Do you think when you're getting ready for a big broadcast and it's 5 minutes before air and people start coming up to you going, hey, Tony,
Does he like that?
No.
Does he like it
no,
when people
he
do that?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Unless he's trying to negotiate for free deck furniture
Exactly.
at UCF, and then he'll talk to the person even as his producer is screaming at him to get him down! Yeah, what's going on? Get him down!
Famous story.
On time is airtime. You know who else I ran into?
So when's that thing? Next Friday?
We're next Friday. Now, I hope
May 3?
Now, you think
How many people are going to be there?
That'll be fun.
150 to 200?
Oh, I get a little nervous.
What'd you think? It was small?
We are vastly outnumbered. I'm not. You're walking in by yourself. Hoppy and I will walk in
See
after.
what happens.
Yeah, just want to see what happens.
They also invited us to lunch, too. So you think I should look at the food?
Well,
Have a taster?
yeah, I might.
I'm looking forward to being with the West Virginia Society of Certified Public Accountants. Judy Proctor, she's the lead there. She's terrific.
You have to be a CPA to go to that?
Yeah, you got to belong to the group.
Okay.
I think they might have some other folks in there. They heard Hoppy was going to be there, so
Our friend's going to be there from Conley, CPA?
Oh yeah, I think Mike's in. Yeah,
Mike's going.
Yeah, Mike's in. Also, last night I ran into you're familiar, Hoppy, with the Boone County Pig Roast.
Yes. Yeah. To raise money for WVU scholarship.
So I walk. So I've known these young ladies for a long time. Dr. Sarah Frazier and Dr. Samantha Frazier. There they are. Both.
Oh, the best. Well known.
They're the best. Simply the best. Unbelievable supporters of the Mountaineers. Trying to get me to go down to that pig roast this year on 13th of July. And I don't know if I have something, but they do it. That Boone County Pig Roast has raised a lot of money for students to come to WVU.
I think those two have surpassed Quincy as if there's an event.
Yes.
Those two are there.
They're the best.
TBT, any kind of event, they're there.
Absolutely.
Great supporters.
Great supporters. So it was great to see the two doctors there. Maybe one of you could fix Hoppy's throat.
I apologize for that. I can't get past it. Plus allergy season.
Great.
Everybody knows that.
Of course, you knew that. Glenn and what are you laughing about over there?
HOO. Obvious observations. Sniffles, runny nose.
Take some Alarest.
They make stuff that helps with that.
Glenn and Glenn Ferris writes, 2.5 guys. I really enjoyed the latest episode with Coach Kellogg. He appears to be a great cultural fit. More importantly, a tremendous coach and leader. It was also interesting to hear the half guy, Hoppy, revert to his radio swap and shop program when the senator mentioned his need for a new inner tube. Much like his ragged, crusty hanky, the dean was happy to match spreads with Chuck in his used tube. I'm certain the senator will forego a used tube and the safety risk to his family and friends in lieu of a new one from Lou Wendell Marine Sales.
Agree, Glenn. Thank you.
Thank you. Go to Lou Wendell, get a new one instead
All
of
due respect to Chuck.
Hoppy's buddy Chuck's got a dry rot inner tube. Took off of a freaking caterpillar.
Hey, Chuck takes good care of his stuff.
I'm sure he
zip
does.
ties and a weed eater for me, too.
I forgot to ask him about that.
Last Saturday, the Monument Avenue 10K run in Richmond. Just letting you know that my family represented West Virginia the entire way, efforting. We watched 3 guys and listen all the time, Tim and Betsy Dodd. We may live in Virginia, but we'll always call West Virginia home.
The mothership, Virginia.
Absolutely. So
is.
we got
Awesome.
that, and there they are.
Efforting.
Wearing efforting shirt,
Efforting.
running that doggone
Oh, well
10K.
done.
Hoppy, when was the last time you ran a 10K?
I haven't run a 10K in a while. I could probably gut it out.
Yeah, I know you could.
I'm more like 3 or 4, but I could gut it out.
You used to run that old Wheeling Elby's Big Boy up them hills.
Ran that twice.
Twice.
That's
That
a
was hard, right?
Oh, that's a hard race.
Which one? The one in Charleston?
No, Wheeling.
Oh.
Wheeling. That's brutal.
Straight uphill.
That one hill, the first hill, like about 4 miles, 3 miles in.
Not good.
Whew.
Texter. Hey, 3 guys, have any of you read When Pride Still Mattered? The biography of Vince Lombardi. The first part of the book is fascinating, giving insight into early college football. The 2 most striking things are that Army was the first to play specialties on both sides of the ball. Rodney Gallagher is just an old school ball player. And Pitt was so brazen in paying its players that Notre Dame refused to play them. Thank you so much. Evan in South Charleston. Interesting. Hey, 3 guys, is Rodney Gallagher slowly turning into Brandon Hogan 2.0? Both were high school quarterbacks. Each played their first year at West Virginia, had eerily similar statistics. Hogan caught 12 balls for 67. Gallagher caught 10 for 74. Then they made Hogan move to corner his sophomore year. Now Gallagher is getting a look there. What do you think the potential is for a significant role for him there? I love listening to you guys each week. Reed from Jersey.
You know, that's a fair question, because do you think this is, I know you talked about it last show, but do you think this thing with Gallagher on defense is something they're just experimenting with in case they have to do something or go to the dime, or do you think it's real?
Senator?
It sounds as if it's just a way to get another one of your great athletes on the field in this particular case.
Okay.
So Neil was pretty pointed to say he's still a receiver. He's still an offensive guy. They feel like there's some runway for him on the offensive side ball, but it's got to mix in and see if you can get your best players on the field. You know, he's been saying that for a while, Neil has, right? They've started with that's been a mantra going into last season and this season is get our guys on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
It started with the defensive backs and the cross training between safeties and corners. If you can play and you're an athletic dude,
get on the field,
somehow.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
Howdy, guys. First, I love the episode with Coach Kellogg. What a great coach, great person he is. Second, here's another example of there's always a West Virginia connection. As I'm making my way to Lubbock this past weekend for the baseball series there, I stopped for breakfast at Denny's in Amarillo. There, a server named Diane spotted the flying WV on my shirt. She was positively giddy to see a West Virginian. Turns out her father was born and raised in 100.
Of course he was.
Even though he later raised his family in New York State, he would take his kids back to 100 every summer as Diane was growing up. See the picture there, Brad? She and her siblings, will you stop shutting your mic off? She and her siblings have such fond memories of those summers that they're planning a family reunion back in West Virginia. Before I could tell her how much she'd made my day, she exclaimed how thrilled it was to meet me. She was thrilled. I propose that 3 guys officially proclaim Diane an honorary West Virginian.
Done.
We're do that. By the powers invested in me, by Lou Wendell Marine Sales, Gomart, and Comax Business Systems, Diane, I hereby decree you as an honorary West Virginian. God bless 100 and the Hornets.
Here's your property tax.
Now, that was Joe Mock in that picture. He's a P1 listener.
Yeah.
And he went down to that baseball series in Lubbock this past weekend, and he was there for about 2.5 games worth.
That's not bad.
Had to head home, had to leave there.
Where does he live? Does he live in Texas?
No, he lives in the Round Rock. I mean, he was the guy that adopted Eric Stevenson out there near Round Rock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, how did he get to Lubbock? I mean, that's just, you got to.
Flew.
I was going to say, you can't drive.
So he could. I mean, but
he could. But
that's why he had to
yesterday.
leave. That's why he had to leave, because the doggone baseball went so late.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this on the interwebs?
What?
This is a pencil sharpener video. Can you show that?
Excuse me?
I've heard something.
Oh, yeah.
Watch this. This lady turn that pencil sharpener. What actually goes on inside the sharpener, the guy gets a chainsaw, and he kind of puts a sharpener on that, and then she pulls that thing back out there, and boom.
Wait a minute, that's not real, is it?
Yeah, that's probably real.
Yeah, Hop, every time you put a pencil inside of a sharpener, there's a little man with a chainsaw, lumberjack, and he shaves it off with a chainsaw.
I know how a pencil sharpener works.
Oh, you do?
I'm looking at that. I don't have a real good view, and I thought, is that really something somebody created, or am I just getting a?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It's cute.
AI.
That's the new response.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the new response.
Yes.
Anytime like someone does something wrong, you just go, me, AI.
Must be AI.
Speaking
I mean, what is it? Is it
joke.
AI created?
It was a joke. I don't know what it was.
What?
I don't know. It's a funny little thing. Like, the joke is every time you stick a
I know
pencil
what
in a sharpener, how does it work? Well, there's a little man sitting in there and he chainsaws.
I know what the joke is. I just don't know how they created what it was. And you guys don't have enough curiosity to try to figure it out.
Yeah, maybe.
Correct. In this particular case, I do not.
Okay,
Oh, that's good.
move on.
Okay,
Move on.
Let's
Okay.
talk
I
about
wasn't
receivers.
going to spend a whole lot of time on that one.
Okay, move on. Fine.
Apparently, there were a lot of mistakes made by me in the last episode.
What? You made a lot of mistakes?
I said I made
You made a couple. You made one or two.
So here's this one.
This is a lot.
This one was a learning experience for me. Gentlemen, I am shocked. Shocked, I tell you, that during Tony's mistake corrections tour last episode with Coach Kellogg, that he did not correct his egregious mistake from that same episode of saying, and I think I heard this right, that the Elton John song Empty Garden was about Versace's death. What? The song, co-written by John's lifetime writing partner, Bernie Taupin, is about John Lennon's death. It's a tribute to Lennon. The title, Empty Garden, Hey, Hey, Johnny, is my favorite Elton John song. If you know, you know. Keep up the good work. Love the pod. Ben and Scott Depot. So I always thought that doggone thing was about Versace.
Well,
it's about Lennon.
You learned
Makes it completely understandable because he got killed in New York, where Versace got killed in Florida. Thank you very much, Ben and Scott Depot. Texter, Letty Brown's having a really good game for Arlington of the UFL. Will Clark, too. Go Mountaineers. So Letty Brown's playing in the UFL. Will Clark. Will Clark's got to be getting old, isn't he?
He's been playing for a while.
Yeah.
Good for Letty.
Let me effort.
Anthony Beck's team's rolling in that league, aren't they? The Battlehawks? St. Louis?
Played 4, 3 up and 1 down. I think the only loss they had was like that 206-yard field goal.
I
I
like Anthony in a coaching role.
Really?
I mean, he's been successful at whatever he's done, right? Long-time pro.
What do you...
broadcaster for ESPN, Jets for a long time. I think he could be a really good coach.
So when
a really good coach.
When Neil Brown gets the Auburn job, he comes back and coaches here.
Just keep doing what he's doing. Stacking games.
Sam in Fairfax, Virginia writes, Hi, guys. Class of 2007. Mountaineer here and semi-frequent listener. I'll work on that. Listen to what was playing inside this stadium after the FA Cup semifinal between Manchester United and Coventry City in England, one of the biggest soccer tournaments in the world. Please roll that Bean videos. Watch this, Hop.
For the large part, it's been a terrible afternoon for them, but victory given with that kick.
The background.
There is a chance now to finish the season on a high. Well, you're right, Sam, heartbreak. They put everything into that.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah, how did that get started?
I told the senator during our pre-production meeting earlier that you weren't invited to, Hoppy. I still would love to know why Country Roads has become the global phenomenon that it is. There needs to be a better answer than, it's a catchy tune. Something, what is it that makes it viral?
I don't know. It was a huge song. It is easy to sing. It's easy to remember. It's a good crowd song. Brad, you were in that.
All three great points there at the end.
Oh, jeez.
I just
All
wonder
three really
if
good
there's
points.
something in the rhythmic nature of it that makes it more.
It's a, you know what? Well, yeah. Let me go a little bit deeper. It is, if you want to get more philosophical, it's a home song. It's a song about the longing for a place. In our case, it's West Virginia, but it could be any place, right? Take me home, country
Right.
roads, to the place I belong.
Sure.
And that's a very strong draw for anybody and everybody. How's that?
Yeah, pretty good.
Will Clark, who turns 33 May 4th, played for the Bengals 2014 to 2016, Tampa Bay 2017, 2018, St. Louis Battlehawks 2020, Detroit Lions 2020, New Orleans Saints 2020, Arlington Renegades 2023.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah, still playing.
Still grinding.
Texter. Three guys. I was inspired by
He could play.
and sampled heavily from your Buzz Cut episode with Jarrett Brown.
That one was awesome.
I hated that episode.
Oh, it was great.
I interviewed outgoing Mountaineer mascot Michael Hager. He won the National Mascot Hall of Fame Greatest Community Impact Award and was on track to set the West Virginia record for most appearances in 1 year. A splendid run and my favorite interview. By the way, Hoppy needs a bump-in stinger for his HOO segment, Hoppy's Obvious Observations. Bring back his bike bell ringer. Ding, 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 ding. All the
I did
best.
like that.
Signed by T-Bone in Roanoke. And Michael Hager, the outgoing Mountaineer. I'd like to offer up, Texter says, some Jerry Porter Gallagher as a nickname for Rodney Gallagher since Pac-Man's been taken.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
not bad. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Since
Under
Jerry
no,
Porter was
this
a good
texter
one.
says, under no circumstances should he be called RG3, which was suggested by a Metro News personality that should not be named. I love the show. Pete from Pennsboro.
Yeah, I think Jerry Porter Gallagher's. That's pretty good.
I like
He
that.
says that this applies to Jerry, played some wide receiver D. He said, I also think he ran a series or two of option quarterback. I can't remember the game of the year. I'm 90% sure that. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Probably kicked a field goal or two. I mean,
Yeah.
He was a
How about-
freak. He was
Yeah,
a
he
really,
was a
really
freak.
good
He
athlete.
could do a lot.
I've told
Yeah.
the story too many times, but that Nerf came out with the ball that had the wings on it and had like some
Yeah,
fuselage. And we were at the Insight.com bowl. He threw it from an end zone out of the back of the other end zone,
Yeah.
120 yards with a Nerf ball.
He spent some time in the show as well.
He did.
He's pretty good.
He'll go on a list of misused Mountaineers.
Well, misused.
Misused.
He was too good at too many spots. Didn't have one natural position, was too good and alluring. I see why that staff always said,
Well,
we need help here.
Yes.
Let's put him
So
here. Now
he-
we need some help here. He can do that. Let's put
Yes,
him here.
correct. But it's unfortunate for him.
I think that in hindsight, it would have been, here's a guy we need to get the ball to. Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So they then did.
Hmm?
They did. They got there.
Ben in Wilmington, North Carolina, not WV related, but I figured this would be a good question for the slow text season. This past season, I was watching an ACC regular season game. Jay Billis was working. After an official review, he mentioned offhand that sometimes refs have a different camera angle that are not available to the TV broadcast. I wonder if you guys have any idea what he was referring to. I always assumed refs just had access to the TV cameras. my first inclination on the answer is that no, they just look at what TV's giving them. I'll have to ask about that.
Joey Porter was an all-Big East selection as an all-purpose back.
Yeah, do whatever you need.
About
to
right.
do.
Whatever you need. Was with the Raiders 2000 to 2008, and then was 1 year, I think, in Jacksonville. Yeah, Jacksonville for a year. Had caught 295 passes, 31 touchdowns. Drafted in the second round.
Evan in Iowa, playing both ways, Ironman football, Rodney Gallagher, Iron Rod Gallagher. West Virginia rules opponents with an iron rod. Signed by Evan in Iowa. Our boy was there last night, by the way.
Who?
Jennings.
Oh, at the Charleston event. Of course he was.
Yeah, he was there. You got that picture, Austin?
Jennings will get you some events in.
See,
he's a supporter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so
he shows up.
we came in a side door, and he gave us the side door access point.
Yeah.
Well done.
He is trying to get into the CPA event that we're going to do next Friday. He does not belong to the West Virginia Society of Certified Public Accountants, but he said he's like the treasurer for like his fantasy league team. So he's going to try to qualify under that codicil to
There's
get
some
in.
accounting types duties in
He's
that.
the treasurer.
Yeah.
There is a little-known codicil in the CPA Constitution.
If you're the treasurer of your fantasy football league.
Might be able to get in.
Yeah.
By the way, Porter tore his Achilles in training camp with the Montreal Alouettes, and that had season-ending and apparently career-ending surgery.
Yeah. Last one here. I think this would look great near my bourbon barrel lid. I know several people that would like to have one. He's talking about the cement statue. I might have to put a small flying gold WV by Morgantown or my hometown of the Strawberry Festival. Mike and Myrtle.
Where did they get those strawberries, Tony?
No, why'd you do that? I was just going to say it's the end of the show. Let's just move along. We got out of this without any controversy, and you had to do that.
All right.
You know who first broke that news to me? You know who broke that? You'll know this, Brad. You know who broke the news to me?
Attacked on Twitter over it.
Did anything come in this week?
Mayor's going to get involved.
Yeah, there was a guy trying to strong arm me. Anyway, you know who first told me that not all the strawberries come from Upshur County? Our boy.
Who?
Chris Wallace, who's from Buchanan.
Oh.
I think he took it pretty hard when he found out as a kid. Wait a second. All these berries aren't grown in Upshur County?
Does it ever say they were all grown in Upshur County? Or are they just honoring the strawberry?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's it.
That's the thing.
Well, sure.
I just kind of thought that they were all
Well, that's your mistake, not theirs.
Right.
First of all,
so that's on
strawberries,
you.
you're not going to have strawberries in the spring.
When's the Strawberry Festival coming up, right?
Spring.
Yeah.
I mean, the strawberries.
That's why they got to bring them in.
Strawberries are going to be in like August.
Yeah.
In West Virginia.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're just honoring the strawberry.
Correct.
Yeah. So you misconstrued, then took a shot.
Correct.
Yeah. So that was all your bad.
First for me.
First for you.
I think they should invite you down and have people throw strawberries at you.
No, I don't think we're going to do that. Don't think
it's a big festival. It's a big deal. It's very, I've been there a couple times.
I got an invite last night to Colton Days. That's a huge.
Yeah.
That's a huge extravaganza.
West Virginia is festival. Every place has a festival.
Well, why not? I mean, there's stuff to do.
We'll move on before he offends more than he's already offended.
Well, we have the Colton people on top of us.
No, Colton people are good people.
Buckwheat Festival. You gonna say something?
You know who went to Colton? You know who went to Colton Days once?
Who?
Who was the guy from Airplane? The comedian.
Leslie Nielsen?
He was there once.
Really?
Yeah, he was there. They've had some people there. Colton Days.
I met him once.
Did you really?
He was coming out of the West Virginia State Capitol. I can't tell you why.
In their lobbying?
It might have been.
Did you say, "Hey, Shirley"? And he said, "Don't call me Shirley."
I met, very nice guy. Very nice guy. I told him I loved him in his movies. It was very nice.
That's good. That's good.
The Side Adventure.
All right, we're going to come back sometime this week. We're coming back this week again. We're working on something for a guest. Hopefully it'll happen. We'll see.
Better.
If it happens, it's going to be really, really good, which is what we try to give you. Really, really good.
You got something? You're working on something?
Working on something. Yeah.
Efforting?
He is efforting. That is true.
I hope it happens. Three Guys Before the Game brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years.
I'll try to be.
By Gomart. Go for good times. Go for Gomart. If you haven't yet, download the new Gomart app. immediately begin saving on everything. Get rewards, save money. Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. Selling family fun. Premier boat dealer in our state. 45-plus years. Sell the Avalon pontoon boat. They're terrific. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com.
Tubes, in case you don't want to use chucks.
Anything you want. Anchors, cranks, whatever you
Tires
need.
for your trailer.
Tire trailer.
You want me to check on that?
GPS. No, I'm going to talk to the Lou Wendell folks.
Okay.
Thank you.
What are you going to get? You're going to
Appreciate you
get
trying to help.
You're going to get a.
I need one of those 3-person ones.
They can do that.
Ours, we wore ours out last year. Straps are out. We had it.
Really?
Yeah. No, seriously, do need a new
Safety
one.
first. Good to know.
Yeah, do need a new one.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice little rope
Chucks
on
might
there.
be dry rotted.
And that
anyway.
rope, put that out there.
Yeah,
We like to do
nice.
that. Go 3 across.
Thanks to our producer, Austin Wright, and thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, we encourage you to do that. That helps us in some way. We don't know exactly what, but that's what people say on podcasts.
That's what they do
Subscribe. So we'll jump in that line as well. Subscribe. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next week, or this week, coming up later.